For more analysis, we are joined from Washington by Ahmed Muharram, political analyst, and from Occupy Jerusalem by Munir Nusayba, international law professor. Welcome and a very happy new year, Mr. Muharram. As we begin 2025, many observers are wondering whether Gaza will see the end of this brutal war in the near future, given the ongoing escalation attacks by the IOF. What are your expectations for the war's future in Gaza? Will it continue throughout 2025?
Happy New Year. I think everybody is optimistic to expect a better circumstances and better future for the Gaza people. But unfortunately, I think that's a big hope on the ground. Physically, it cannot be happen unless Israel wishing to do so. For more than 15 months, 450 days, what happened? The resolution is 154,000 between killed and the casualties, plus 11,000 are misplaced. They never know where are they, what happened to them. The infrastructure is already in a very bad situation. 2 million of the Palestinians are living in tents under very difficult weather conditions. Apart from the very hard question is, what is the next day after the war? If there is a ceasefire will happen, who will take care? Who will be responsible to do all the assistance to all those 2 millions? Where are going to be moved? 85% of the housing infrastructure in Gaza, it's already demolished. So it is very critical to say, to understand, to expect what will happen on the first day of ceasefire. Are Israelis considered to have a ceasefire temporary or for good? There are so many questions, but I think within the next couple of weeks, when the new administration of Trump will take place, there is a big hope that something can be done, maybe from the view of Benjamin Netanyahu. He can agree in stopping the war at that time as a gift to his good ally and good friend Trump, to give it to him as a first gift that he is already capable as Trump to stop the war in Gaza and somewhere else in the world.
Sir, do you think from your own perspective that U.S.-elect Donald Trump, when he takes office, there's going to be a different strategy, or there's going to be different impact on what's happening in Gaza? Or do you think there will be a solution?
The question is... actually at all that there will be a solution with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a person who respects international law. His administration is more based on bullying rather than any principles that are shared with humanity. We have seen during his first administration how he moved the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, how he ignored international law and recognized the Israeli sovereignty over Jerusalem and over the occupied Golan Heights from Syria, and how he has fought the UNRWA, the UN Works Agency for the Relief and Works Agency for the Palestine refugees. So Donald Trump has worked during his first administration in a way that fights the Palestinian cause in many aspects. I do not expect him to act differently in his new administration. In fact, I'm very much worried by his alliance.
Yes, sir. You seem very pessimistic, and I want to ask you now this question. Israel's ongoing attacks on hospitals and medical infrastructure in Gaza have been condemned by the international organizations. How do these actions violate international humanitarian law, and what legal consequences could Israel face?
The legal consequences, Israel is starting to face these consequences. We have seen how the International Court of Justice has taken serious positions against Israel over the past year. We have seen also that Netanyahu and Gallant are now wanted by the International Criminal Court. There are arrest warrants against both of them. And I expect that there will be more arrest warrants by the International Criminal Court in the next months and years. So these are some of the legal consequences. But more importantly, what is going to happen in 2025 and 2026 depends on what positions states are willing to take in order to punish Israel for the violations that it has been conducting. If there are no consequences and if there are no sanctions against the state of Israel, it will learn the lesson that it has learned over the past decades, that it can do anything and there will be no consequences. And these consequences do not come only from courts. Courts are only part of the international...
Sir, but they are never turned into actions. They're always words that are never turned into actions.
So that's the role of the Arab League and the countries that actually care about...
I'll leave it here, sir, and I'll be back again. Mr. Maharem, according to Israeli media, a number of ministers will hold a meeting in the presence of the Minister of Defense regarding the next day in Gaza. What do we expect from that meeting, and do you think that this means that the Israeli government plans to end the war soon?
Well, this kind of meeting, I think, always to try to gain time, number one. And number two, they would like to get the answer who will take care of the responsibility, who will stop, either temporary or for good. They would like to be sure that no more Hamas on the agenda after the war is over. So I think the meeting is trying to give hope to Israeli leaders that somehow some assistance will come from anywhere, America, Europe, Arab countries around like Egypt, like Qatar. The most critical question for those leaders is to get rid of Hamas and to answer the question, the second day of the war, how Gaza will be under a kind of administration, not Hamas. So this kind of expecting on Thursday, tomorrow, will have to find suspect ideas or suggested ideas, but how it can be applied on the ground, this is the most critical question.
So, Mr. Maharem, tomorrow we expect a very important meeting that's going to take place for an administration in Gaza to resolve the situation.
Correct.
True?
Yes, that's true. I hope that with the absence of American administration, is any effort can assist to get more, optimistic ideas to those kind of meeting. It's only the agenda of what Israel would like to do, or on the ground, how we be expecting some kind of compromise between Hamas and the Israeli leaders.
Okay, Mr. Nusayba, the recent reports of Israeli attacks on medical facilities and, of course, the detention of healthcare workers raise serious questions about accountability. What steps can be taken to hold the IOF accountable for these potential war crimes under international law? And, sir, it's become very terrible atrocities and genocides, and, of course, heads of hospitals which stood in the front line to save the Gazans and the Palestinian people, and the children and the women and civilians are now detained, and the situation is even worsening.
Thank you for this question, actually. I think it's very important. At the moment, we need a new application for provisional measures from the International Court of Justice. We haven't yet, of course, we know that South Africa has done this exercise 3 times in the past, and it has certainly convinced the International Court of Justice that it should issue these provisional measures, and the court has done that a number of times in the past. At the moment, while Israel is attacking the north of the Gaza Strip in a way that makes sure that there are no more health facilities in the north of the Gaza Strip, that the starvation in the north of the Gaza Strip is becoming, exceptionally...
It's becoming famine, sir. It's no more for starvation. It's terrible.
Yes, it is indeed. So any country now, maybe South Africa hasn't done this recently. I hope that it will. But if it does not, other countries can also do it. Other countries can, step up their legal work at the International Court of Justice, and they can apply for provisional measures.
Which countries are you pointing at, sir?
Well, at the moment, we have a number of countries that have already expressed that they want to be part of the International Court of Justice case, the South Africa versus Israel genocide case. For example, Turkey, for example, Nicaragua, and others have already expressed, Jordan, that they want to, Ireland as well. So any of these countries, but also other countries that have not joined the ICJ case, can decide to join and move towards provisional measures. I think this is an important step in order to revise the humanitarian situation at the judicial body, at the International Court of Justice, in order to make sure that what Israel is doing right now, its attack to the hospitals and its targeting of the health personnel, the medical personnel, will not go unwatched by the court, and of course also by media. Once a certain action has gone to court and is examined by the court, it attracts the attention of the media. So
okay, I'll be back again, sir. Mr. Maharem, considering Netanyahu's stance and the repeated airstrikes on Gaza, do you think Israel's long-term strategy involves fully occupying Gaza, or is there another goal at play here? What do you believe are Netanyahu's true intentions with this escalation, sir? And he never stops.
I agree that what you said, he will never stop. More than 15 months now, he started to attack Gaza, and he went to Lebanon, and he was trying to get rid of the first staff leaders of both Hamas, Gaza, and the other in Lebanon, Hezbollah. And then what he said, open appetite also, not only to be considered that Golan is not enough, he moved to Jabal al-Sheikh as well. I think he has big hope that he can stay more in Syria. That means he will never go back. It was given as a time for him to draw back from Lebanon, but areas he will never do that. As well as, I don't think that he has any hope or any initiative that he can draw back from.
Sir, do you think that Netanyahu is using Hezbollah and Hamas and the concept of the detainees or the release of the detainees as a means to continue the genocides and atrocities that he's going forward with everywhere in the Middle East, and it's one of the means that he is using in concrete and based on concrete confidence that what he's doing is to release the detainees, which is not the truth, sir? Or do you think otherwise?
Well, yeah, he's moving now to to Al-Houthi in Yemen, trying to open another gate and give him a chance maybe to pay back to America and the international trade walls, because what happened affected the international trade. It's reason for him, I'm going to this pattern, I'm defending your benefit economically, politically, so he's giving himself a chance in Yemen is correct. But I think the escalating of what's in Yemen is not of the the international power, even the attack not by Israel, by American and Britain, will give the area more kind of instability.
Okay, Mr. Nusayba, the Israeli occupation forces have detained hundreds of healthcare workers, including hospital directors in Gaza, with reports of ill treatment and even deaths in custody. How does international law view the detention of medical staff, and what are the potential violations here, sir?
It's a crime on several levels, actually. On the one hand, the treatment of these persons once they are in detention is certainly torture, and torture is not only a violation of international law, but also it is a crime. It is a war crime and a crime against humanity when it is seen as systematic or widespread. And certainly Israel has a very widespread policy of torture in its prisons. They have also murdered some of the medical personnel who have been
Plus
arrested.
now, sir, detaining Dr. Abu Safi, which his son passed away, and which stood in the front line for the, of course, medical care at Kamal Adwan Hospital. And now his children are asking for the return of their father, which is a doctor that was working for the sake of Gaza and the Gazans and the civilians, and he never left his job, and now he's detained.
Yes.
Where is the international community from all this, sir?
This is a very good question. Where is the international community? International law is very clear, and then politics is failing us. We do not see any clear messaging or clear intervention. The international community is the number of states. It's every state in the world. Every state has a responsibility to respond. Every state in the world is watching now a live stream genocide in the Gaza Strip. They can see how Israel is targeting every sector that allows life to continue in the Gaza Strip. The medical sector is an important one that Israel is targeting, but they have also targeted the humanitarian aid. They have targeted food and water and infrastructure. They have demolished the homes and displaced 1.9 million Palestinians out of 2.3 million Palestinians out of their homes. So the humanitarian situation that Israel is creating an unbearable humanitarian conditions, and this is in order to continue with its genocide. So your question is exactly my question and everybody's question. The law is with the Palestinian people. The law is with the civilians. The law is against the crimes. It's clear. We have sufficient evidence and sufficient messages from the International Court of Justice, from the International Criminal Court, from most of the special rapporteurs, from the Commission of Inquiry of the United Nations. We have resolutions, we have everything. Why do not we see sufficient sanctions against the state of Israel? I'm not saying there is none. It's politics. This is not law, this is politics. Unfortunately, the United States is complicit with the genocide. Germany is complicit with the genocide, and there are many other states that have helped Israel during its genocide. But we have also, it's important to say, so that we do not lose the hope, that there are states that have changed their relationship with Israel. Look at Spain, look at Norway, look at Turkey, look at Egypt, look at Jordan. There are many other countries that had relationships with Israel and have already changed that, and this is very important. This is a message that tells Israel that it cannot continue with that. But now what we need is an increase. We need more countries that will change their relationship with Israel, that will stop trading with Israel, that will stop the normal relationship with Israel until Israel abides by international law. It's an easy equation. We've seen it several times in the history. It worked in other situations.
Mr. Munir, I'm very sorry, sir. I'm out of time, and I'm very sorry that I have to wrap this episode. And on the first day of 2025, the question remains, what lies ahead for Gaza in 2025? That was Ahmed Mahairim, political analyst, and Munir Nusayba, international law professor. Thank you very much for your valuable insights and informative knowledge.